folks. Let's continue with some blood vessels. Let's talk about blood vessels going to the abdomen and pelvis. So if you understand these blood vessels, then when we come back and we place them in the pelvis with the other organs, or in the abdomen with the digestive organs, then you will understand them. But first, let's just talk about the path of blood flow. And so this video is going to be specifically referring to arterial blood flow. So our starting point is the aorta below the level of the diaphragm, and that is known as the abdominal aorta. And in the abdominal aorta, we have some blood vessels which are paired. In other words, we have a right and a left coming off of each side, for instance, to go to the right kidney and the left kidney. But then we have three main big blood vessels which come off unpaired. There's only one of each. So they come off of the midline and then they're going to branch. So the very first one of these is like this far below the diaphragm. So you're looking for a blood vessel just below the diaphragm. And this blood vessel is called the celiac trunk. So if you remember that word trunk, we had it once before for an arterial blood vessel, the brachiocephalic trunk. So that tells you it's a blood vessel coming off the aorta and it's going to branch almost immediately. And so the celiac trunk does do that, and it has three branches. One branch is going to go over to the left, one branch is going to go over to the right, and one branch goes upward and then to the left. So when you're looking at on models, you're looking for something to the right, something to the left, and something upward. So the something to the left goes all the way across the left side of the abdomen to the left upper quadrant to the spleen, and that is the splenic artery. And it is going to travel on the top surface of the pancreas. This is the pancreas. I know you don't know it yet, but that's where it's going to be traveling. The one that goes to the left actually is only about an inch or an inch and a half long before it divides. And it's called the common hepatic artery. So don't just call it the hepatic artery, it's the common hepatic artery, because what it's going to do is going to divide into branches going to both the right side and the left side of the liver, as well as branches going to the first part of the small intestine and other various places. So the common hepatic artery, that's the branch that goes off to the right. Splenic to the left, common hepatic to the right. So what we have left is the one that goes up before it cruises left, and that's called the left gastric artery. All right, so those are the three branches of the celiac trunk. Then if you go back to the abdominal aorta, partway down the abdominal aorta, you will see that there is a vein that crosses just anterior to it that I'm pointing to now. The next unpaired blood vessel is just immediately superior to that only blue blood vessel that crosses in front of the aorta. And so that next blood vessel is called the superior mesenteric artery. The pictures on the side I'll explain to you when we get to those parts of the digestive system. The superior mesenteric artery is smack dab in the middle because it is going to send branches to all of the small intestines, so both on the right side and the left side of the abdomen. It's also going to send blood vessels to the right side of the large intestine. Okay. So pretty much stomach is done now, small intestine is completely done, and half of the large intestine is done. So what is left is the left side of the large intestine, and that is going to come from the third unpaired blood vessel, which is more inferior, and it's going to be this structure right there, known as the inferior mesenteric artery. Now, as you see, when it comes off, it kind of tilts to the left normally, and that's because it's only supplying blood to the left side of the large intestine. So those are the three unpaired branches. Now, as far as paired branches, let's go back to that one blood vessel that was crossing just in front of the aorta. And then on the other side, those are, so if you look just below it, you see a blood vessel coming off to the left, and then its companion vessel going off to the right. Those are the two renal arteries. bringing blood flow to the kidneys. Another blood vessel that comes off the abdominal aorta are the blood vessels that go to your gonads. So for instance, if you have a model and you can't tell if it's male or female because it doesn't have any male or female organs, then we call them gonadal arteries. But if it's a male model, we would call them testicular arteries. And if they're female model, we would call it ovarian arteries. So it's important to look at the model to see, are there any reproductive organs? If there's a uterus, you can't just call it a gonadal artery. You need to call it an ovarian artery. So what do these look like? Whoops. If you go back to the abdominal aorta, what you'll see is they come off and they angle downwards. So it looks like an upside down V with these two gonadal arteries going downward into the pelvis to supply blood to the gonads. After that, we have reached the end of the abdominal aorta, and it needs to divide in two because eventually the branches are going to be going into the two lower extremities. So as soon as it bifurcates, it's called the common iliac artery. And so that bifurcation is now going right above where the ilium is. And then the common iliac artery is going to divide. So if you remember, we had a common carotid artery in the neck, and it divided into an internal and an external carotid artery. Well, the common iliac artery is going to do the exact same thing. It's going to divide, only it's this way, into an internal and an external iliac artery. So looking at these pictures, they have kind of cut off the internal iliac artery, so all you see are these little red stubs, but that would bring blood down here into your pelvic area. It's just not really showing it. But those are your two. You have a right internal iliac artery and a left one. And then that means those other branches are the two external iliac arteries. So once the external iliac arteries have crossed below the level of the inguinal ligament, then they're considered to be in the lower extremity. And even though the blood vessel is continuing, it's going to have a name change. And once they're in the lower extremity, we're going to call them femoral arteries. So that's it for arteries in the abdominal area. And we will continue on a different slide. A different video for the venous blood flow. Thank you.